Hey, I'm back with yet another recipe. Whenever we think of Indo-Chinese as a cuisine, we all have that preconceived notion that it's lengthy, it requires a lot of time, a lot of pre-preparation, a lot of ingredients, and a lot of headache. But with today's recipe, I'm going to break that myth. Today's recipe is literally under 3 steps and under 15 minutes. This one is Paneer Chopsuey. Don't believe? Stay tuned. Let's begin. Well, generally in any Indo-Chinese recipe, we always begin with oil, then we add in ginger, garlic, green chilies, and then subsequently we keep adding the rest of the ingredients. In this case, I'm going to use this little gadget to make the sauce. Let's see how. To this, let's add in ginger, garlic, and green chilies. The next is to add in tomato ketchup. Next is adding in red chili sauce. Sugar for taste and flavor. Now you may be wondering why sugar and why ketchup. Ketchup in this recipe, of course, is to bring in the element of vinegar, tomato primarily, and sourness. Ketchup is not going to bring in sweetness. For that additional sweetness, sugar is mandatory in this recipe. To this, let's also add in corn starch, light soy sauce, red chili flakes. Mind you, in this recipe, we have red chili flakes and we also have green chilies, which are both now going to get crushed. So use this with caution. How much heat, how much lesser is completely your choice. To this, let's add in a little bit of water, not too much because we already have 2 sauces in. And let's grind this into a smooth paste. With this, our step 1 of this recipe is done and ready. And like I said, I'm going to make this in 3 parts or 3 components. The first one is right here in front of all of us, and that is the chop suey paste. Let's move on to the next step, and that is chopping in a few vegetables. In this case, I'm keeping it very simple. Some red onions and carrots, that's it. What I'm going to do is just cut these into petals. Very simple. Well, this is literally step number 2. Step number 1 was making the sauce in the grinder. Very simple. Let's move on to the next one, which are some white onions. Well, in this recipe, by all means, you could add in some capsicum, some bell peppers, some mushrooms, cabbage, red, green, some fried noodles. Choice is completely yours. But I'm keeping it very simple because I understand that you want to make this in a jiffy. But let me take this to another level. Let's cut these into flower shapes. What I'm going to do is hold the knife by its tip and score it like so. Absolutely straight. Now parallel to this line, let's actually cannel this out. Holding the knife at an angle, which is literally running parallelly to the first line. Well, this way, we have a little cannel right here. Let's do this again. First time, straight knife. Second time, knife at an angle. And move this out. Simple. This is petal number 1. Let's make another similarly. Now that the carrot is shaped and ready, let's slice this slightly thicker. So now here you have these beautiful flowers or pinwheels, whatever you can call these. And finally, last but not the least, and the hero ingredient, which is cottage cheese or paneer. Let's cut this into little squares. This is done and ready. Let's move in to the last stage, and that is cooking all of this together. The cooking medium in this case is regular vegetable oil. Let's add that, like a tablespoon and a half. Allow the oil to heat up. What I'm doing here in this case is taking the pieces of cottage cheese and giving it a layer of caramelization on top, because that way it'll get a little bit of a bite while eating the paneer. Well, generally, whenever you make anything Indo-Chinese and whenever you're adding an ingredient to the Indo-Chinese dish, we generally batter fry that and then add it. But in this case, like I said, I'm making it like a breeze. Let's add in dried red chilies whole. And to this, let's add in the pieces of paneer. Let's add in red onions, along with this, carrots and spring onions. Once this is tossed and ready, in the sauce, let's add in two very critical ingredients. Let's begin with salt. Remember the fact that soy sauce and red chili sauce both have salt. Let's add in water and shake this slightly. Well, this now is step number 3, which is the cooking process. Let's add all of this into the paneer and vegetable mix. On high flame, a quick few stirs, and you will see that the sauce now, which is slightly orangish in color, will start intensifying. The sugar, the red chili sauce, my mouth is already watering. The tomato ketchup will now bring in that element of gloss. And to add to it, we have corn starch, which is now going to jellify all of this and make it wonderful. A quick few stirs, and with this, your Paneer Chopsuey is done and ready. Off goes the flame, and this straight goes in the serving bowl. Finally, a sprig of green onion, and with this, your Paneer Chopsuey is done and ready. Now the question may be, what do I eat this with? Steamed rice, Hakka noodles, steamed noodles, or finely pan-fried or fried noodles. Have this when the temperatures are low, and thank me later. On that note, do not forget to stay tuned to Rajshri Food for more such quick, simple, easy, and stunning recipes. Bye for now.